So here they come. Always startling to look at. Fantastic dogs. This is the
Boston
Akita.
Terrier.
And here's the original Yankee Doodle Dandy. It's the Boston Terrier.
The Bulldog.
Big round of applause for the most numerous today. This is the Bulldog.
The Canaan Dog.
And the national dog of Israel, the Canaan Dog.
And now the Chow Chow.
Classic rolling gait, and just look at that dog. He owns the ring, the Chow Chow.
And now the Dalmatian.
And the free-striding elegance of the Dalmatian.
The Eurasier.
A more recent arrival to this group, the Eurasier.
The French Bulldog.
And here's the breed of the moment, the French Bulldog.
Delightful little pied.
The German Spitz Klein.
The smaller of the two Spitz, German Spitz, this is the Klein.
The German Spitz Mittel.
And here is his larger cousin, the Mittel, German Spitz Mittel.
The Japanese Akita Inu.
Classic markings of the Japanese
The
Akita
Japanese
Inu.
Shiba Inu.
And another Japanese breed, the Japanese Shiba Inu.
The Japanese Spitz.
Crisp white coat, black pigment. You couldn't mistake it for anything else. The Japanese Spitz.
The Keeshond.
And here's the Keeshond, the Dutch Barge Dog.
The Koikehunza.
Red and white coat, characteristic of the Koikehunza.
The Lhasa Apso.
Breed from Tibet, the Lhasa Apso.
The
Smart
miniature
as a
Schnauzer.
button, the next dog coming in. The miniature Schnauzer. All attitude,
The
just
miniature
look at
Poodle.
that.
The first of the Poodle, it's the miniature, black miniature Poodle.
And now the standard Poodle.
Always gorgeous to watch on the move, the standard Poodle.
The toy Poodle.
Galloping there.
And the smallest of the family, just going to follow him in, the toy Poodle. Just a little bit diffident in getting
The
going.
Skipperke.
And here's the Belgian Barge Dog, the Schipperke.
The Schnauzer.
And the middle size of the three varieties, the Schnauzer.
The Sarpei.
And here's the Sarpei coming in. Padded muzzle, neat little triangular
The Shih Tzu.
ears.
The Shih Tzu.
The Tibetan Spaniel.
The Tibetan Spaniel, the smallest of the Tibetan breeds.
And the Tibetan Terrier.
Gorgeous flowing coat, square as a box,
From
the
the
Tibetan Terrier.
import breed register utility, the Xoloitzcuintle.
And
Mex
representing
Hairless.
the import breed, the developing breeds, it's the Xoloitzcuintle.
I
I'm
now
so
hand
glad
over
you had to say
Jonathan
that,
Dolby
Frank.
and Kim Sletubil, who will take you through the commentary.
Also known as the Mexican Hairless.
Thank you very much, Graham. So whilst our judge, Jackie Kitchener, takes her first look at this splendid utility group.
So now Jackie Kitchener going to take
Let's
a
take
walk
this
down all of these
chance to
best of
explain a little
breeds.
about the 27 breeds that we see before us. One of
It's
the
a very,
most
very
constant
varied
of
group
the
of dogs,
seven
these, the utility breeds. They used to be serve a variety of
breeds
purposes,
spanning
but
across
now
the globe, from Asia to the Middle
used
East,
largely
North
as
America,
companion
and Europe.
dogs.
This group sees a wide
Many of them from
diversity of
Japan,
continental origin and a really
many
interesting
European
mix of
breeds
shape,
amongst them.
size and function.
The taller Akita,
The orange and white Koikehondje from Holland.
dense coated Chow, to the smooth
Variety of
coated
coats,
Fox,
variety of sizes.
from the heavy-set Bulldog,
There we're into the
to
elegance of the
athletic Dalmatian.
poodles now, the miniature,
Variety
the
is very
largest.
definitely
She's really drinking them in.
in the utility group.
There's also a really interesting variety of functional utility breeds used for hunting: black bear, wild boar, tracking, and even retrieving game. They've worked the barges of Holland and herding stock, the fields of China and Tibet, just to mention a few. And the first dog for Jackie Kitchener to examine this evening is the Akita. Claire Andrew was
Classic outline of the Akita, a large, powerful dog with a real air of being constantly on guard. Greatly valued for their strength, their striking appearance and that amazing bright, clear colour.
The first and the tallest breed of the group, the Akita is one of the most popular breeds in its Japanese homeland.
This is the largest breed in the group, a big winner. It's a best in show winner several times. Hails from Merseyside. Steckles love at first sight.
Similar dogs have been depicted on relief stands during the
Winner at Crufts 3 times. These brilliant colours, plush coat, high set tail over the back, a strong skull and these neat little ears.
Lovely, fluid, powerful movement. Known as Chanel at home, apparently she's an absolute dream to live with.
Number 14818.
And here now the judge looking at the Boston Terrier. This is the smallest of the bull breeds, which means it's got Bulldog in its makeup. Developed, as its name suggests, in the Boston area of America, and for some time you had to live in the Boston area to be a member of the club.
The Boston Terrier, perhaps laid in Britain in the days when dog.
Beautiful view of the head there with those gorgeous ears, smooth coated. They're compact, short faced, of medium size.
And although they have a bulldog in them, there's a degree of elegance in this length of leg, the top line and this smart movement. These markings really set off the dog. A white blazoned muzzle, a white collar, some white on the legs. Makes them very smart, a real Yankee Doodle dandy.
Graceful on the move too.
They've been described as a true Yankee Doodle dandy. Or the black satin gentleman.
Smart, smooth mover.
14922.
And now we see before us the Bulldog. Kevin Davies was the judge of 233 Bulldogs today. The largest entry.
The magnificent head of the Bulldog, broad and square with a short upturned muzzle and a slightly undershot bite. Those ears are small, fine and folded into the form almost of a rose.
15100 to emerge triumphant as Kevin's best of breed winner.
This one has topped an entry of 200 Bulldogs today, so it's a great day for him. He's come from Staffordshire to win a Riccitori redesigned. He's called. He's 2.5 years old.
Bulldogs were so popular at that
now,
time that
although they hail from the bull baiting days, the Bulldog today is much smaller, more solidly built.
And they've got such fantastic characters, haven't they? That companionable character has meant they've survived way beyond the function they were originally bred for.
Absolutely, a nucleus of breeders got together, pooled their stock to develop the modern breed, and they've worked very hard to improve the health of the breed, freedom from exaggeration in skull and substance, much more mobile now and sound.
So that's Jax the Bulldog.
And here is the national dog of Israel, the Canaan Dog. It was thought the ancestor was the pariah dog of the Middle East, gradually domesticated from 1935, a watchdog, rather wary of strangers, all-purpose function, looking after the place, looking after its owners.
This breed was selectively bred from pariah dogs.
This one's come all the way from Folkestone to win, 2.5-year-old bitch.
Wedge shape of that head, broad between the ears.
And after its domestication, it's been used by the armed forces and by the Red Cross. It's very vigilant.
And
when you put your hand in that coat, it's harsh outer coat with a thick, close undercoat that's nice and weatherproof.
And it could equip it to live in the extremes of climate there. A real functional dog.
Next dog to be gone over by Jackie is the Chow Chow.
Originally the guard dog of the Chinese Han Dynasty 2,000 years ago, the Chow Chow was also raised for the pot, not something that would ever happen now. His skin is thick, his pelt plush and full. This one a gorgeous red. They've come from Italy to compete today.
And were known in China.
And this dog is looking magnificent. It's third time he's been best of breed at Crufts, and that takes some doing. But he's solid and square with his strong head and padded muzzle and these neat little ears. Peculiarity of the breed, as the judge is looking at now, is the moderate angulation on the hind legs, which gives it this peculiar stilted gait, almost like a little cycling gait in its rear end.
And they're also characterised by black or blue tongue and gums. You can see the dark pigment in the nose and those blue gums. See the tongue?
And wonderful solid legs. Tail carried over the back in this harsh, off-standing coat. They do come in two varieties. We can see a smooth-coated Chow, but this one is looking magnificent tonight.
Strong bone. Look at those little round cat-like feet.
Marvellous padded muzzle. And the breeders have worked hard to improve the eyes. They used to be small eyes. They're now much healthier eyes.
There was a marvellous entry of 206. This was the third highest.
Now the judge looking at the Dalmatian. This one is a liver-spotted dog. They come in black and liver. Wonderful breed which became popular in the Regency period, trotting alongside the horse-drawn carriages and guarding the stables at night.
In those days it was known as the carriage dog. Their athletic build.
It's thought that they descend from the Talbot Hound, a UK breed which has became extinct, and then it became known as the fire cart dog. It used to run ahead of the fire engines.
Very sound, those fantastic straight, well-boned front legs, deep chest.
They were valued for their decoration in the spotting and their elegance on the move. They were a bit of a fashion icon in the Regency period. This one going very well.
Wonderful, outgoing, friendly nature makes them tremendous pets as well.
And now we have a fairly recent addition to the utility group, having come from
the Eurasier, apparently a devoted family companion, calm, even-tempered, Spitz in type with this wonderful coat, the wedge head and that plume of a tail curled over his back.
Best of breed was this male, number 155.
They come in all colours or combinations of colours, but no party colours. There mustn't be any white there, or liver or merle.
And this one, a very handsome specimen of the breed. The breed was developed in Germany. Julius Whitfeld decided to cross a Chow Chow with a German Spitz with a little bit of input of the Samoyed. So it's got all these Spitz-type breeds in it. Very elegant, good length of leg, nice plumed tail over the back.
And we see him on the move, slightly longer than he is tall, strong, level back, plenty of drive from behind.
This one is the top winner in the breed for last year.
They're very athletic and compete in many of the dog sports. This is number 15599, the Eurasier.
The Eurasier.
And now the French Bulldog. This one a pied, which means it's black on a white background. It's the top dog in the country at the moment, in that it has the most registrations last year, overtaking the Labrador and the Golden Retriever, which is quite amazing. They carry the French name on their title, but it's thought that they originate in the toy bulldogs of England, which went to France with the lace makers in the 18th century, crossed with bull breeds there and brought back as a little French bulldog.
Whilst they were there, they were
absolutely characterised by those wonderful bat ears, that classic shaped head. They're the real clown of the utility group, sturdy and compact. The Frenchie should be a little person.
And this one is really striding out here. Broad chest, sturdy bone, and the top line is one of the new unique features of the breed. A little rise over the loin and a drop to the tail set, perfectly illustrated with this one.
And of course, the only colours are fawn, brindle or pied. Anything else is not truly a French Bulldog.
And Jackie now turns her attention to
now we have the German Spitz, and this the first of the two varieties, the Klein. They're 23 to 29 centimetres at the shoulder because the two varieties are only divided on their size. The breed standards otherwise are exactly the same.
15852. to be best of breed and come
compact, almost square in outline, very typical Spitz with that wedge of a head, those wonderful prick ears, plush off-standing coat and the tail curled over the back.
The German Spitz is the ancestor of the Pomeranian. They're bred down to be finer boned, and we'll see the Pomeranian later in the toy group. This one comes from Middlesbrough. Dale Francis and Gary Pearce have been very successful. They've won a group at Crufts, which is remarkable for a German Spitz. This one really showing that brisk striding action, lovely off-standing coat.
Gorgeous expression. They're favoured for their intelligence and their happy, confident disposition as a breed.
They're very collectible, actually. You'll find that people who have German Spitz don't just have one, they might have half a dozen, yes.
That's the best of breed. German Spitz Klein, number 15852.
The little German Spitz Klein.
We've certainly kept Betty Peach busy today because Betty was also in charge.
Now on the table is the larger size, the Mittel. They have exactly the same standard, except it's only differentiated by size. The Mittel here can range from 12 inches to 15 inches. The Klein is below 11.5 inches. And they will have been measured in the ring by the judge. Queen Victoria brought some German Spitz home from a trip in Europe, and that made the breed a little popular. Another fashion icon with the royal family. And they became popular, even more so when they were bred down into the Pomeranian.
Smooth, short hair on the face, showing those oval eyes, absolutely to best advantage. And of course, the gorgeous coat with this great ruff round the neck and fantastic pair of trousers behind. Square in outline, nice and level-backed. They're surprisingly well boned throughout for such a small dog. Substance required, substantial.
This one is shaded sable, and you can get these in all colours, including party colours.
Brisk sound and straight and parallel on the move.
You see the German Spitz Mittel making its way back to our judge, Jackie Kitchener. This is the male, number 15924.
And the next dog to be judged is the Japanese.
This is the Japanese Akita Inu, was actually separated from the Akita in 2006 and is probably much closer to the original type for the breed. These don't have a black mask. Instead, they have these very characteristic white markings that blend into the bright coat.
The lovely almond-shaped eyes give it this oriental expression. Again, the neat ears, protective.
They're quite thick, those ears, aren't they, for the size of the...
Yeah, and they were used to hunt bear. Some were taken to America and developed there into what they call the Great Japanese Dog, which we know as the Akita. But this is the original type, coming in 4 colours: the red fawn, brindle, white and sesame. This is the red fawn here, with those white markings, as you say, which they say in Japan is the Eurasier markings. Important feature for the markings of the breed.
And almost rounded in the head. Just look at those wonderful cheeks.
Here's another Japanese breed, this time the Japanese Shiba Inu.
And here's something similar, but in a smaller scale, the Japanese Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu translates as small dog, and it was developed to hunt small game. Wonderful plush coat, some padding around the cheeks, beautiful expression. You can see the plushness of texture of the coat.
In appearance to the Akita and the Akita Inu.
They are so neat, these little dogs, aren't they? Short, level-backed, those wonderful prick ears.
Small but
very alert and sensitive, and a brisk athletic mover.
Shiba Inu was
this breed was declared a national monument in Japan in 1934, so a national treasure, if you like. So
light, quick, and energetic on the move.
And these wonderful iridescent colours. The Japanese like bright, distinctive colours in their breeds.
And his very handy size makes him incredibly popular in the household.
And you can actually see the double coat there with the softer, paler undercoat and that hard, straight, standoffish coat.
And this one's topped a big entry. Not yet a champion, and winning at Crufts is a big achievement.
And also from Japan, this is the Japanese Spitz.
This is the Japanese Spitz, characterised by that sparkling white coat and black pigment. They're actually quite a modern breed, recognised first by the Japanese Kennel Club in 1948.
Was best of breed today. Distinctive in its
typical Spitz type with the wedge head, short back and the plume tail, but that colour and the black pigment against it makes them instantly recognisable.
It's thought that the breed hails down from the Samoyed and the German Spitz, and so it's got these Arctic breeds in it. They were taken and bred down to this size and became very popular all over Europe.
From there, they came to the UK in the 1970s.
Light, nimble movement.
Loyal and bright.
Always a briskness of style about all of the Spitz breeds.
Devotion,
Sparkling white coat.
Watchdogs, and great family pets. They're certainly gaining in popularity. This is the Japanese.
This one's
Spitz,
called Kai at home. It's come from Glasgow to compete, and is apparently the most affectionate and loyal little person.
Looking for these parallel columns of the front legs as the dog comes towards us to show this soundness of movement.
There was an entry of 88. This is another male, number 16185.
The distinctive grey colours of the Keeshond, another Spitz breed, but this is the Dutch Barge Dog. It was used for guarding barges, vociferous. In the 18th century, he was the mascot dog for the Dutch Patriots Party, whose leader was Cornelius Keys, and that's how he got his name, Keeshond.
Specialist breed club was formed in the following year.
He's shaded grey with the harness markings just behind the shoulders.
Quite interesting.
Harsh textured coat, standoff, and again the wedge head. Another breed peculiarity are the spectacle markings. We can see a line of black running from the corner of the eye up towards the ear. Wonderful spectacle markings, much prized in the breed.
And in fantastic bloom, this one, gorgeous rough. It's come from France to compete.
Keeshond. That's 16185.
And those lovely pointed ears are the shape of an ivy leaf.
And this is going very well. Looking up at its own, am I doing well, Mum?
The Koikehunza now on the table.
This is the Koikehunza, and like the Nova Scotia duck tolling retriever, it was developed as a duck lure for nets and traps used by wildfowlers. It hails from the Netherlands, a really good-natured, friendly dog, always in this gorgeous red and white.
Tim had an entry of 42.
And it's rather appropriate it should be red and white. The orange and white, we call it the national colours of Holland. And another feature are these dark tips to the ears, what they call earrings.
Just a little overawed in the ring. This one looks a bit anxious.
It's only recently been transferred to this utility group. It used to be in the gun dog group, but since they're silent workers and are sensitive to noise, it was moved into the utility group, working for man, but not with the gun. And this is a little overawed. We can see it not quite carrying itself.
Add Quaker to the Dutch
only 21 months old, so
and it's a long day at Crufts.
Number 1,
comes from a good family, because her mother was best of breed at Crufts twice before, so carrying on the family tradition.
Glamorous Lhasa Apso. Larry Croft was in charge of the Lhasas today. Another very good entry of 150.
Now we have the Lhasa Apso. Might look all glitz and glamour, but the Lhasa is a hardy little dog, and that jacket was designed to protect it from the Tibetan winter. Hair falling so as not to obscure its sight. Lovely and straight.
Which means the barking lion dog.
This was a sacred dog of the monasteries, companion for monks and also used as a guard dog. It was impossible to buy a Lhasa. They were only given to favoured friends. They were very much talisman dogs, considered to bring good luck and prosperity.
The lovely long coat that we see was vital for the survival in the harsh winters.
Now under that coat, a hardy dog, narrow head, good length of leg, which is quite straight, but they have to be sturdy bodied.
Lovely level back.
And the coat should be hard to the touch, not soft and silky. It's got a resistance to it. A weather resistance, a lovely tail carried over the back. Very nice outline on this one.
Jaunty little mover.
6414.
The breed we now see on the table is the miniature Schnauzer. Peter Rowlett was our breed judge.
Now the smart, crisp outline of the miniature Schnauzer, the smallest of the Schnauzer family. The giant we've seen in the working group, and the standard, the middle size, we'll see later. Very smart with this salt and pepper coat, which is banded coat to give it this overall grey effect. The word Schnauzer means bearded muzzle, and it was used as a vermin dog, very sharp, good at its job, but now a wonderful companion dog.
Crossed to bring the miniature Schnauzer into being.
Lovely strong head, shaped like a brick underneath those furnishings, little V-shaped folded ears. This one's got a super tail being carried just right. Of course, they used to be docked, and therefore some of the tails are not quite as you would like them. This one is more or less perfect.
Yes, they should be short and square and have a good chest. They should not be light as terriers, but need a good forechest, lots of substance in the body, and that top line should be slightly sloping from withers to tail set.
Really well muscled, and miniature Schnauzer likes its exercise. Broad and deep in the body.
And Jessica, you've lived with a lot of these, and you know what wonderful household companions they are.
Now on the table we see the first of our 3 poodle varieties, the miniature poodle. There were 109 dogs for our breed judge today, Mrs. Anne Bradley. Anne's best of breed was this dog, number 16662.
Oh, just look at that long, fine head, those gorgeous almond eyes, low-set ears. This is the miniature poodle, the middle of the sizes, 28 to 38 centimetres at the shoulder, and just look at the bloom on that dog.
The poodle's coat does not shed, but regular grooming is essential. And for the
clip of the poodle, actually, it's not just a fancy hairstyle, it was a functional cut. The poodles were originally water retrieving dogs and worked with the gun. And they were clipped like this to give a mane of hair at the front, to give buoyancy in the water, clipped hindquarters so for freedom of driving through the water, and a pom-pom on the tail to protect it against the cold. So don't just think it's fancy show trim, it was traditionally functional.
And of course they have to be trimmed regularly because the coat doesn't shed, it will just keep growing. And in fact, if you let it grow permanently, it forms cords like a commodore or a poodle. Deep-chested, short-backed, super show dogs, the miniature poodle.
And here the largest of our sizes, the standard poodle, and what a picture of elegance this one proves. It's a white, it's come from a famous kennel, the Afterglow Kennel, who've had a reserve best in show before with a poodle, with a white poodle. But this one, look at the dark pigmentation of the skin, the long neck, the long muzzle, which was very useful for retrieving ducks, so there was function in that as well.
And if you wonder what the pom-poms are in this particular trim, think about where they are. They're covering the joints of the hocks there on the back legs, and then further up across the hips to keep them warm when they're working. If the joints are warm, they function better.
And this one recently won Best in Show at the Amsterdam Winners' Show. That's the biggest show in Holland. And on the move, it's a wonderful style. Poodles always put on a big show, long stride, lovely elegance in the neck and head carriage.
And that joyous temperament, just look at that dog go.
The white standard poodle bitch.
Coming to stand perfectly at the end, and they're striding out.
And the last of the 3 sizes of poodle on the table now is the toy poodle. They were judged today by the specialist, Carol.
This is the smallest of the poodles we have here. In Europe there are 4 sizes. Here, up to 11 inches for the toy poodle. Now the judge is going over the dog. The judge has to feel what's underneath the coat, the anatomy of the dog. Good shoulders, a good chest, a deep rib cage, working along the body to see the angulation in its back leg, which will give it drive and on the move. Just looking at the outline and balance of the dog, which is a good indicator of quality and breed type.
And Helga just looks a little unsettled there. She is only 13 months old, so to have achieved best of breed at Crufts at that age is quite extraordinary.
And overcame a host of champions from all over Europe. But now it's got into the big ring atmosphere, which is new to her, and she's just a little bit overawed, which is a great shame.
Oh, not a happy little person with the tail down. But good experience, she'll get through it and hopefully be a little happier once she's scooped up by her handler.
That was the best of breed toy poodle, 16889. Next on the table, we shall see the Schipperke, judged today by Andrew Holland. And from an entry of 55, Andrew selected this dog, number 17032.
This is the Schipperke, a small Spitz, 5.5 to 7.5 kilos, and originally a barge dog on the canals of Belgium and the Netherlands. That foxy face, absolutely characteristic of this breed.
Wonderful breed, long-lived, sound and healthy. The word Schipperke translates as little captain or little boatman, and that's what they used to be, in charge of the boat, keeping the vermin down, sharp little characters. It's said that the outline of the Schipperke looks like a caped horseman, a caped highwayman with a cape down the neck, culottes on the back, and this outline gives him this hooded, caped appearance. Now they are not allowed to be docked, so they have this natural tail curved over the back in Spitz style.
Made popular by figurines made by Beswick. That was the best of breed Schipperke, 17032.
This is the middle size of the three Schnauzers.
Here we see the
Schnauzer.
Judged today by Rosalind Hull.
Dogs should give an impression of strength all through. This one pepper and salt, like the miniature Schnauzer we saw earlier. Nice and square, good strong bone.
Size of the three Schnauzer varieties, standing at approximately 19 inches at the shoulder.
Originally a drover's dog, looking after the stock and making sure that they weren't damaged by any predators. Guard and also a fabulous companion. And I think that's probably why the Schnauzers ended up spreading from just the standard Schnauzer, this one, to both the miniature and the giant. They were such brilliant all-rounders.
And we can see the hard texture of this coat. We can always feel it from here. It's a working coat. And apart from being good household companions and herding and vermin dogs, they could occasionally pull small carts around the farm.
And this one has come from Milan in Italy to compete today. 3-year-old Demi.
Schnauzer was the actual familiar name of the dog that won best of breed when first exhibited as a wirehead pinscher in 1879. That's
the Schnauzer.
17049.
And now our judge, Jackie Kitchener, turns her attention to the Sarpei. Judged by Rodney Oldham, the Sarpei entry was 50. And Rodney selected this dog, number 17121, to represent the breed in the group this evening.
And there's a distinctive padded muzzle of our next breed, the Sarpei, a Chinese breed. Goes back to the Han Dynasty, used for hunting and fighting originally. Developed in recent years as a show dog.
This is the breed
distinctive for the padded muzzle, the neat triangular ears, and we noticed the judge looking inside the mouth. Again, related to the Chow, she was looking for dark pigmentation of gums and tongue and the roof of the mouth.
And they're characterised by this loose, slightly wrinkled skin, the frowning expression, and that harsh coat.
And of course the wrinkle mustn't be overdone. When they first came to this country, we had a lot of exaggeration in skin, which brought trouble to the skin and to the eyes, and breeders have worked hard to get rid of it. This is now typical, just a few wrinkles at the bottom of the neck, at the withers, and a little bit at the root of the tail.
And this is Campana, who's come from Spain to compete at Crufts this evening.
Another breed with Chinese and Tibetan history is the Shih Tzu. Ken Sinclair was in charge of 174 Shih Tzus here today. They were introduced from Tibet to China in the mid-18th century, where they lived in the imperial palace.
Sturdy, active and friendly. This is the Shih Tzu, characterised by the hair on that glorious face, growing almost in a chrysanthemum pattern. The breed has those lovely large, dark, round eyes with such a warm expression.
The first Lhasas were imported into
Long
Europe.
in the body, short but powerful always. Plumed tail carried up over the back.
Classified by the Kennel Club.
Judge going over it, looking at its front legs, there's a slight bow to the front leg. They're deep-chested in front.
The first European
So you're feeling the bone and the shape of the leg, looking at the expression on these large, dark eyes.
Long, dense, flat top coat flowing there.
And this one has come from Thailand to compete, so it's one of the longest travel dogs to get to the show, I should think.
They also make superb companions. This is the Shih Tzu, number 1.
The tail should be carried high in a teapot handle style over the back. This one, smart dog, a little bit different in type to what we've seen before.
To the Tibetan Spaniel. Tibetan Spaniels were judged today.
Now, one of my favourite breeds, the Tibetan Spaniel, favoured by Tibetan monks and often found in the monasteries alongside the Lhasas. Again, they were much valued and you couldn't buy one. They first came into England when people came back when the overrun of Tibet by China. And in the 1920s, Lord and Lady Windermere made them very popular.
With their alarm barking matched by their keen eyes.
Relatively small head with a slight dome to the skull, high-set, well-feathered ears, and the cushioning in the foreface is very characteristic, isn't it, Frank?
Yeah, what gives them a wonderful expression. They're long-lived and hardy, great characters. If you think they look a little bit like a Pekingese, well, they may have Pekingese in their ancestry, but these are higher on the leg. Only a very slight bow to the front leg. Light little ears with a bit of lift to them. A slight dome to the head and these wonderful eyes and expression.
Highly intelligent little dogs, great personalities and fun to live with.
High-set plume tail carried over the back like that. Lovely, active, quick movement.
These plumed feet, the feet should not be trimmed.
Now we see the Tibetan
Hair feet, untrimmed.
One of the 4 breeds
A breed
in this lovely
specific.
group over the 200 entry mark. There were 207, making this lovely breed leapfrog the Dalmatian and French Bulldog to become the 2nd highest entry. Our judge for today was Stuart Mallard. This is the tallest of the Tibetan breeds, and despite his terrier name, it's actually a herding
Under
dog.
that coat, there are beautiful, large, round, dark eyes,
Large
V-shaped
feet.
pendant ears. This is a Tibetan Terrier. Bit of a misnomer, actually, because the breed was originally a herd and a home guard rather than a ratter or a hunter. Always square in outline.
Sure on those feet.
This one is a big winner. He's the best in show in all breeds, and he's won at Crufts before, and he comes from a famous kennel, of the famous line of champions of the Iraqi kennel. This is Neil Smith handling him, and it's related to Claire's dog, Archie. It's a same family, so she'll be happy to see this.
And that coat is a double coat. It has a fine woolly undercoat and a profuse, fine and straight, or maybe very slightly wavy top coat with a different feel to it. White, gold, cream, grey, smoke or black, either party colour or tri. Fantastic names for the colours.
Squarely built and carrying itself well. And as you say, one of the breed features is flat feet which used to equip it to work well on the terrain.
The Tibetan Terrier, number 17667. Now, our final utility winner comes from the import register, where there was an entry of 38 across 2 breeds.
Now we have something a little bit rare coming from the import register. It's a Xoloitzcuintle.
And also
That's
the
a
one that we see winning through.
Mexican hairless dog, we used to call them, but we've given its national title now. This is a hairless dog.
17724.
3 sizes of them. This is the middle size. The largest was used for hunting.
Breed, and the Xolo is the national dog of Mexico.
Its name comes from the Aztec god Xol, which was the god of
Far back as 3,500 years ago.
deformed things, and it gets its deformity from being
As
hairless.
hunting dogs and companions.
Although not
Safeguard
necessarily
their
a
homes,
deformity,
compounds,
its
evil spirits
main
and
function
intrude.
was both as a protector of the home, but also
cries
as a
were
bed
they
warmer.
often buried
And
with their
if you've got no
masters
hair, then it's
to
like
guide
sleeping
the
with a
soul.
small thermonuclear
And
reactor.
yes, they are hot to the touch.
That's 17724.
Sharply pricked ears.
But you need to make sure you've got a bottle of sun cream in the summer.
Yes, they need to be oiled in the summer.
So now our judge, Jackie Kitchener, will be taking another last look at all of these best of breed winners before she makes her short list of finalists. There was a very close number to last year of entries in this exciting group competition.
So now Jackie Kitchener's had a chance to have a look at all her best of breeds in this utility group, who she's going to pick for her shortcut, her selection.
And she's had her hands on all of them and examined what's underneath the coat, the conformation. She's assessing them for breed type, each one measured against its breed standard.
So Jackie has got the onerous task of cutting this superb group down for further consideration. So while they're all together, ladies and gentlemen, please.
So coming towards the end of the line now, the Mexican Hairless taking in those dogs. She's had her hands on all of them. Who is she going to select? First to pull out is the Akita.
Is the Akita.
Oh, that gorgeous Chow Chow.
And the Dalmatian. And the Klein, German Spitz Klein.
The Japanese
Shiba Inu comes in next. And the Keeshond. Oh, past all of the Poodles.
The Shih Tzu.
The Shih Tzu comes in.
The Tibetan Terrier.
And the Tibetan Terrier.
Of the shortlist, so well done to those other best of breeds. Give them a round of applause as they
So we have our finalists now.
Very clear in which dogs she wanted in the shortlist here.
The competition continues to find the 6th finalist.
Now I think we'll
that coveted best in show.
Get a chance to see them. Last run out and back, checking the...
So this is Chanel, first of all, the Akita, 5 years old.
Judged in the breed today by Claire Andrew.
A multi-best in show winner, so very accustomed to the big ring atmosphere, unfazed by it with her handler.
And such spectacular show dogs, she has to be in with a shout.
This Chow is looking magnificent today. Short, compact, beautiful head with strong skull and going with the dignified stride of the breed. A little bit stilted in its action, which is breed typical. Unhurried, with great demeanour.
I love the breed, and this looks like an absolutely super example. Mittel from Italy. Next we have the Dalmatian. This is Nugget.
Now we see
coming from Scotland to win.
Liver and white spotted.
And elegance and a long stride and decorative spotting. 3 main features of the breed.
Winning through from an entry.
You can just imagine that dog running with a carriage, can't you?
Absolutely. Prize for elegance. Here's that brisk little German Spitz Klein, stepping out with style. Wonderful picture of squareness.
This is 3-year-old B. 20 cc's under her belt.
Round she goes again.
Loving and playful at home, and you can just see that in her expression.
And best of breed at Crufts in 2017, so a second victory here, very assured.
Now onto the Japanese Shiba Inu. Shoji, 2 years old. He's described by his owner as a real samurai. I'm not quite sure how we should interpret that.
But what we can see, the wonderful breed features. This bright, iridescent colour, the tail carried over the back, this foxiness in head and expression, and this athletic stride, really motoring round the ring there.
And imported from his country of origin. He's come from Japan. The Keeshond, this is Iron Man, come from France to compete. in gorgeous bloom. Just look at that coat. All those lovely shades of grey.
And striding out very well, very briskly. And enjoying the experience too. And here is the strutting action of the Shih Tzu. Should show a clean pair of pads as they go away, a good kickback from the hind legs.
This is a male.
A long flight to Crufts from Thailand.
The Shih Tzu.
And I'm sure absolutely delighted to be in the final cut.
And
the Tibetan Terrier. Squareness and sturdiness and striding out well.
6-year-old Jagger, the last of our finalists.
And he's called Moves Like Jagger, is his show name, so perhaps he moves a little bit better, actually.
And as you say, I'm sure Claire is cheering from the studio. There go the spotlights. So that means we're about to get the boards.
One last look.
And Jackie Kitchener will be choosing the 6th out of our 7 finalists for tonight's Best in Show competition. This, the utility group. Who's going to be the winner?
Looking hard at them now. I know how she feels, splitting the close decisions.
Of course, you were in the hot seat last night.
And just checking the heads and expressions of the breed for breed typicality. The lovely outline on the liver.
The winner of the utility
there she
group
goes.
Is the Shih Tzu.
And the Shih Tzu, all the way from Thailand, takes the group.
Yes, that's a great win for Thailand.
Group 2 is the Akita.
Oh, the Akita in 2nd place. He's won a group here before. 2nd place tonight.
3rd in the utility group.
Into group 3, it's the lovely little Japanese Shiba Inu.
Group 4, it's the
Keeshond. Oh, from France, the Keeshond. She'll be delighted.
To those other 4
Visit to Crufts, she's looking up for her friends in the audience.
But huge congratulations.
Oh, yes, that's marvellous.
To our winner of the utility
But there's our
group
winner,
Crufts
the Shih Tzu.
The Shih Tzu.
Hearty, love him if you dare, barely, 2.5 years old.
Jackie Kitchener shakes
all the way from Bangkok in Thailand to take the group at Crufts 2019.
To present the awards to the winner of the utility group, our 6th group here at Crufts, the Shih Tzu.
And now we have presentation of trophies and ribbons.
Let's go and have a word. Why don't you stand up and face your audience? What's your name?
My name is Ekapot.
Where have you come from?
I'm come from Thailand.
Thailand. Wow. Is this your first visit to Crufts?
My first visit with the dog.
Brilliant. What's your dog called?
Barry.
Barry. Hello, Barry. You're a star on camera, aren't you, Barry? Barry, so you've got an hour and a half time to relax, huh?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very well done, and welcome to Crufts. Very, very, very well done. So,